Before I begin on this next one, let me give my credentials, because I have the kind of credentials that can't be given out by Harvard, Yale, Princeton, or any of the world's university. There's no one on staff qualified to even hold a class in the area that I speak of. They have no curriculum for it. They have no forum for it. They have no knowledge of any of these in any of their universities. So my credentials have to come from you. It's not a piece of paper. So let me demonstrate my credentials so that it substantiates what I'm about to tell you. Okay? Because what I go about to tell you goes to the fabric of your existence. Your life may depend on what I'm about to tell you. So you must know who is telling you and by what authority they speak, by what expertise. You can put it in comparison to the great minds you think are great or whatever, but that's all about to bite the dust. Let's start at the ceiling of understanding. First of all, let's keep it simple for the children. Your ceiling of understanding is crazy, weird, strange. When you reach a level that you cannot comprehend, these sounds come out of your mouth. That's crazy. That's weird. That's strange. No, you cannot comprehend it. It is not anything because you say so. It is your understanding that you're pointing out, not the thing you're pointing out. Whenever you use the word weird, strange, or crazy, you're saying, I can't comprehend that. It doesn't make sense to me. You think you're defaming it, but you're showing the level of your intelligence, how smart you're not. Okay? That is the ceiling. I'm going to start at the ceiling of all your wisest people that you depend on for your life. These people who are printing the books at these so-called great universities that doctors and lawyers go by and show you how limited their greatest minds are. Because in the end, this is about the right man for the right job. Okay? The most qualified for the job. And when it comes to the word head, you better have someone with their head together. They better have a head. And anytime you put someone in the head of something, in the head position of anything, it better be your greatest mind. So let's begin. At the ceiling of this, of all the great thoughts and thinkers, is the brain. This is where this is the ceiling of all their endeavors, the brain, the great mind. Well, the brain this and the brain that and the brain, all BS. The brain is not the brain. That's how primitive they are. The brain is not the brain. Let me tell you a better way to understand, overstand. Let's not say the brain. Let's use the term inside your head. Your head, not your brain, okay? Your body, inside your body, is the same exact expression as inside your head, okay? Inside your body, you know you have organs. You don't call them your inners or the thing, because they are multiple parts, all doing different things. Well, these people want you to think you have this one clump of meat in your head that is doing things, when you have a head full of organs, just like a body full of organs. Go back and look at it again, and then look at your insides. You will see it set up just like inside of your so-called stomach. Calling everything inside of you your stomach is just as dumb, okay? That whole area with all the organs, people don't even know what they have in their body, all right? They can't, if you sit there and tell them, name your organs to me. Tell me what you got inside you. They can't even tell you, but they're out there telling you about other people and other things and want you to listen to them. But I don't want to get off track. Let's deal with their great minds. They don't know what a mind is. The mind is not located in the brain because there is no brain. Go and look at it. It is separate organs inside your head. Okay? The cerebellum is a completely different organ. And then all these glands are different organs. There is no brain. It's a head full of organs, a body full of organs all tied together. I don't know why there's a head in the body, you know. I don't know who came up with that concept. You have organs inside of you and they stretch all the way up through you to the top. Got you thinking about a brain. There is no brain. There are organs in your head that do different things. And just like you got a right lung and a left lung, you got what they call the right brain or left brain. No, that's only a portion of the organs in your head. It's not all of the brain, okay? Just like your heart, one side pumps in, one side pumps out, and your lungs do the same, and everything else you see, everything has an inflow and an outflow. Everything has a cross reference, a cross function, okay? From the right side down to the left and yada, yada, yada. But what's don't get complicated. Let's keep it simple. You have a head full of organs. You don't have a brain. And you need to know what all these little organs are and what they do. Not just thinking, in my brain, I think. No one's ever taught you what thinking is. Ask one of your great minds to define thinking. And what is the fabric of thought? I'm going to tell you like I told my people. They really don't like me telling you guys all this. They treasure being smarter than you. To be on a level you're not. A short pause. May have lost a little thought. The same excuse, same reason, same thing. But let's continue on. I try to continue where I left off, even though you can't tell I paused. The brain, it's not. Plain and clear. You can see for yourself. These are people, like I said before, cutting things out of you that they don't even know what they really do, or they don't know all what they do. Feeding you the things that there's some God that knows all about your body and you don't come to me, I'll fix you. When they know very, very little and you're nothing but something they learning off of. But let's keep on. Those are my credentials. I just told you something that has not been known before this moment, is known by everybody since the dawn of time, but hasn't been presented as known. It's right, like the nose on your face. You always knew you had a nose. You just don't see it and don't think about it. And you act as though you don't know and you don't see it. That's just like what I just told you about there's no brain. Okay? And we'll get to where the mind is located later. But I have to make that point for a very specific reason. Now, those are my credentials because of what I'm getting ready to tell you. You know, I thought I was some wise guy, you know. Okay, I know what the universal language is. The universal language is thought. Because it can't be sound. No one speaks the same language, and God doesn't speak any language. And I was saying all these different things, and you think that animals understand your language, but it's really telepathy. And I was saying these things because thought is the universal language. And I learned today that it wasn't. And I didn't even know if I was going to be able to get you to be able to comprehend what I'm getting ready to tell you. That's on you. It's recorded. So you can go over and over it until you do comprehend. Now listen to me carefully. The universal language can't be sound. because sound is only understood by the few who agree as to what those sounds mean. That means that people get together and agree that this sound means this thing, okay? And that's what they call that thing there. And somewhere else they call that thing something else because they got together and agreed that another sound is what that thing is. So sound isn't it. It can't work. Sound is unnatural. Talking is unnatural. Let me take a moment to speak about language, even though it's been covered in another note. Language is unnatural. See, natural is you hear a sound, you hear a train pops into your head. You hear a dog barking, a dog pops into your head. Natural sound supposed to tell you what is making that sound. Okay, but language doesn't work like that. There are a bunch of made up sounds associated with anything they want to put them with. Okay, it's not like a cow mooing. When you hear cow mooing, it's a cow. Pops to your mind. But when you hear these sounds that people made up, all kinds of crazy things pop up in your mind. I hate to even use the word crazy, but all kinds of unnatural things pop up. They can make anything pop up from a sound, causing confusion in your mind on levels you don't even know you have. Language is not a good thing. It causes confusion everywhere that it spreads. These mental illnesses are spread through this thing you call language and communication. This is how you make each other crazy with this thing that you made up, that you think everyone is doing everywhere on every planet, everywhere not. You think it's the only way to communicate. It's not. Understand that the tree is communicating. It's not speaking. It doesn't have a mental plan. Lice on your body communicate and make you transport them to another part of your body. They're not using language. Okay? They don't have a mental plan. How do they send the message all the way through your body to another place to make you transport lice from one place in your body to the other? It's a form of communication, but it's not language. And let's speak on the other part of this. Thought. You thinking, I thought thought was it. Our ultimate everything. It's all about thought. It's all about thought. Wrong. Thought is based on these two things. Things and sounds. Neither one of them are real. Sounds are not real, and there is no such thing as things. Here goes another Nobel Prize. There is no such thing as things. This is known, but not known. Nothing is or is solid. Everything is composed of a bunch of smaller things. And those smaller things composed of a bunch of even smaller things. And nothing is solid where you can call it a thing. Okay? It is a cluster of particles that either is not moving or moving so slow enough for you to perceive or see. And some aren't so dense, so you say that they aren't there, like the gases you call air. You say it's not there, it's nothing, because you can't perceive it or see it. But it's just the same as a tree. A group of atoms together, but not they're not so densely packed that you can focus on them. So there are no things. Everything, all that you're calling a thing is a bunch of formless, is composed of a bunch of formless things. So there is no form. Actually, nothing, there is no form. Because when you dig down deep enough, it's made of things that don't have a specific form. They keep changing. Okay? Only dead things stop at a certain form. When atoms come, when there's no moving atoms, it's dead. When the atoms are moving, it's alive. In a plant, there's moving atoms, it's alive. In a brick, there's not. It's dead. Okay? That's life and death in this realm. But we're getting way away from the point of why I had to tell you there is no brain. Okay? Now your thoughts are made up of the sounds you heard and the things you saw. Now, the sounds are made up, unnatural. They're not real. And there are no things. Just a bunch of combinations of these particles pressed together that you call things. But they really always turn out to be something else other than what you're calling them. So now your thoughts are made up of two things that aren't so. So what is the value of your thoughts? Not much. So every being in existence can't be using this process. There has to be more beyond that. Because this isn't ultimate, this isn't supreme. The supreme couldn't work by something that isn't solid or isn't stable. This that you call thinking isn't even, it's not based on anything. Okay? So it can't be the language that all creatures use to communicate. Just you and a few. Thought of as lower life forms by some. Yeah, like you think of an ant like it doesn't even think, when it probably has a brain too. But you think an ant doesn't think. Well, you're thought of that way too. So, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You might have to rewind this until you really say, well, what the hell did he just say? My thoughts, there's no things, there's just no brain. Rewind it and rewind it and rewind it until you do get it. Because how could you function without knowing this? I mean, how can you function if you can't think? Or you don't know what thinking is? Or you don't know what anything is? Or how it works? Or everything you know is a lie, and all you know is what you were told, because you didn't have the tools to check out anything you're going to say in the end. If I turn this to an argument about you didn't check out anything, well, I don't have any microscopes, I don't have any telescopes, I don't have any, that's how it's going to end. I can tell you now. You're going to worm and you're going to dodge, and that's where I'm going to corner you at. So the last I've done this a million times. So don't try. Just shut up and learn. Okay? This isn't a conversation. And I don't want to hear you have something to say too, and you have thoughts. I don't care about your thoughts. They boil down to your opinion. Okay? Is doesn't have to be presented by anyone. And when someone brings it up, it isn't is because they say so. It's is if they had never ever been born. It would still have been is. These are the things I speak on. That is. And it have nothing to do with it coming from my mouth. They would be so even if I never existed. So don't attach them to me. Don't detach them from me. Just deal with it. So, because that'll be a distraction. Wow, how smart he is. How much good is that going to do you? How smart I am. You need to get smart. That's something that'll do you some good, for you to look in the mirror and say, oh, how smart I am. That's what you've been trying to do since you were born. You need to seize the opportunity. I'm demonstrating this because I have so many notes. I have so many things that you don't have the tools to verify or check out yourself. Yet your life going to depend on it, so you're going to have to make a decision anyway. So what I try to do is never steer you wrong. So when you get to a point where You can't check it out. You can say, well, he's never steered me wrong. Don't mean I can't even be wrong that one time. But I'm just saying, if your life's at stake, it'll make it easier to make the decision. Well, hey, I'm going to roll this way because so far this way is kicking everybody's butt in every direction. And it ties back to mindless people wanting to be in power. They want to be the boss. They want to be the mayor. They want to be the governor. They want to be the president. We need our greatest minds in boss positions, not our biggest bellies. Okay? Really. That doesn't fly anymore. I successfully pulled a Michael Jackson in a way, you could say, because I have voters turning 18 all the way past 2024 already got their vote. And they're kids. The ones that my competitors overlooked. They don't even take time for them all. They can't vote. The hell with them. They're just kids. They don't have any rights. I was smarter than they were. It's going to show. So, let's get on with this. Because we're over 21 minutes. And it was supposed to be a simple note. A simple note to open it up. To open up the field of research. All these neurosurgeons and all these different people should have told you a long time ago. I'm pretty sure a brain surgeon is aware that there are multiple organs in your head. And he shouldn't be called a brain surgeon. Or is the brain the area? Nah. So what's the area in the body? Is a stomach surgeon? You can't call everything by one organ in a package. They were way off. They're primitive. They don't know what they're talking about. They're in the research stage. They should say that. I'm not knocking them. They just need to be more honest. We don't know everything is an acceptable answer by everybody on this planet. They welcome that answer for you to tell them you don't know. Rather than feed them false hopes or a lie. People die from your medical lies. Has everybody got that? People die from these medical lies. They aren't just a little thing, a little lie. Millions are dying because millions are lying. That's what I'm saying about these mental illnesses. Who would lie to someone about their life? What kind of sickness is that? Your life's on the line, but I'm going to lie to you. Keep your business coming. That's not cool at all. So, we're getting it straight. So first I grab them all by the throat and I slam them up against the wall. So you don't listen to them, you listen to me. That narrows it down, your focus. Makes it easier to learn when you're learning from 1, 2, or 10 directions instead of 100,000 directions and don't know who's telling the truth. So I'm just gonna Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson. I'm just gonna knock everybody out the box. Not that I have anything against them personally, but I have something against the position that they're going for and the consequences of another idiot having that much power for another 2 to 4 years. We're in a mess across the planet. I got to worry about our mess over here right now. Okay, I can't worry about the whole world. All right, I already done my city. All right, clean that mess up. You can go check. You're going to want to live there. But that's another whole story. Your mind. Everything is real, but the thoughts in your head. At most, they're imaginary. And your feelings that you've been given is nothing's realer than your thoughts or more important than your thoughts. And this is the only thing that isn't real. You've been turned inside out, upside down, misprogrammed. What these notes are supposed to do will be a manual on how to reset yourself. They're going to get physical. It's going to be more than an exercise or Taebo. I'm going to give you the real deal that's really going to work. I'm going to show you how to heal the lame, how to fix yourself. You could be walking with a limp. You can be crooked. You can be twisted. I'm going to tell you what these things is and how to relieve them. And they're going to talk about all the awards I got and all the accomplishments I've done. And then they're going to turn around and they're going to put a tag on their body. But he acts like it's no big deal to him, or it's not nothing, like he doesn't really appreciate it, or they're going to see all kind of stuff. There they go, profiling. Mindless people that I already told, your mind's not right. Focusing on something besides themselves. Mistake one. Every time you find yourself doing it, it's a mistake. Every time. That isn't even the best way to learn. You know how you learn this world? Monitor yourself. If you do this when you're lying, when you see someone else do it, they're lying. If you're up to something and you do this, when you see someone doing it, they're up to something. This is the mastery of people. This got me to the level I'm on. Knowing thyself. Once again, I've changed the world. You have organs in your head, not the brain. And all the wisest were wrong. Thought and telepathy is not the universal language. It is the universal method of transmission of mental illness. This thing you call communication, like it's such a necessity. You've never stopped to look at all the problems it caused. The only reason that it can do some good is because it's already there. I'll show you what I'm saying, how I can use communication to undo it. This is my license. They use bulldozers to come through here and knock down all the trees and put up this crap. I'm licensed to use bulldozers to go and knock down the crap and put the trees back. No more, no less. It's got to be a fair fight. I could just Superman you. You wouldn't stand a chance. The only time it's going to appear that's going down is when people's lives are at stake. So when we get into these election debates, it's off with your head. If you dare even debate me, it is political career suicide. You could not, no one's going to want you to be in charge of the Christmas party. You do so at your own risk. Anybody in front of me, it's off with their head. Should have been behind me. Because I know I'm building right behind me. And I'm attacking wrong. So if you're standing in front of me, it's automatically assumed you're wrong and it's off with your head. Anyone defending this cesspool or this hell we're in, or trying to justify it or maintain it or any way, is evil or insane, which is the same thing. So you pick your side. The ones are going to win. We always do and we always will. That's how this country came to be. It's why we're here. It's why everyone wanted to be here. What you call individuality. All right? These other places were trying to make cookie cutter pieces, all walk like this, all do like this at 3 o'clock, move like this. And they rebelled against that. Everybody do what I say, the way I say. People was like, hey, hold up, I got my own will. Bingo. Now you're getting it. Will is not thought. Will precedes thought. Okay? Will dictates thought. It is by will that you use these images and sounds to formulate thought. So even without thought or language, you would have will. That's a key. That's a hint for you. Princes and kings are paying a king's ransom to know more than their subjects, or to know it first. I can't just tell you on YouTube or Facebook. Come on now, presidents and their cabinets want to be the smartest, at least until they release the information. So you can tell where this information, whose hands it's going to end up in first. But I'm doing my part by giving you an equal shot at the main things. At the main things. They're going to know enough to manipulate you at will. But if you know the main things, you know enough to keep your free will. Will is the key, I'm telling you. And will precedes thought. It is not the same thing. It's not the same thing. When you find out what will is, then you will know what the universal language is. And that it's not words, and it's not pictures in your head. Because some of the pictures in your head, the creature you're communicating with may have never saw them before. How can it be communication? How can it be understanding? It's the same as speaking a language to someone who don't speak it. If you're showing them images they don't understand. So, that was way short of the mark. Thought is telepathy. That's the universal language. Primitive, wrong. Sorry. And the brain is almost cavemanish. It's so primitive. Any child could see this as a bunch of different things. Just like if they looked inside of you, they would see a bunch of different things. When you look in someone's head, there's a bunch of different things there, and they all do different things, just like the things in your body. And we're going to get deep into these things in your body and the ones they're cutting out. That if you ask them, hey, tell me about the appendix. What, every organ serves a function. What does it do? Oh, and then there are other organs in your throat. I'm going to tell you about larynx and stuff, but there's other organs in your throat. Ask them what that's there for. What does the Adam's apple actually do? And don't ask them things. You're cutting out my tonsils. What are tonsils for? Do you understand this? Oh, see, I have to cut this short because they're going to get confused as to what field to give me my award in. All right, whether to give it to me for the brain, to give it to me for the literary work, to give it to me for science, to give it to me for the work on thought, and or give it to me for some social reason, humanitarian, on and on and on and on. The only reason I'm stacking up these awards is because it's what you measure by. All these plaques, all these, me winning the Emmys, the Grammys, the Oscars, all makes you pay attention to me. Attention, attention, attention. The first thing you pay is attention. Way before you go in your pocket to get money. I told you, listen to my songs. I mean every word in them. Michael Jackson meant every word in his songs. You danced to them all, and you didn't even listen to the lyrics. Because you wouldn't have been partying if you would have really listened to his songs. You would not have been dancing to You Want to Be Starting Something. You would not, if you listened to the words, you would not have been dancing. Now, we're going to have to cut it down. We're over 35. And this is a subject that I can go deeper and deeper in, but I've told you. Administrations and countries and kingdoms have staffs of wise men who can't tell them anything about this. They're going to be on me. And a person will trade you everything in the world that they have if it will extend their life. Some of this does that. So we're getting serious here. Okay, when you talk about living longer, it gets serious. And I'm sorry I chose to lighten it up. I was setting you up for a really big revelation. And somewhere in the midst of it, I realized I better just give you a little piece at a time. Deal with the brain. What? There is no brain. There are organs in your head. Okay? There is no such thing as a thing. It is a bunch of little things in close proximity to each other, so close that you can't see the space between them. But there is space between them. They are separate things. They don't actually combine and merge, as you've been told, to form something. They just get next to each other. Okay? Now, so that whole concept is not what children should not be taught. Things, how could they become materialistic if they knew it was no such things aren't really anything? All wood is dead trees and plants. No matter how fabulous the cabinet looks or the coffee table looks, it's still a dead tree. If a child knew this, they couldn't become materialistic. You gave them these mental problems. And you're throwing your hands up like you had nothing to do with it. Go through every note until you feel sane again. It doesn't matter if you don't vote. Save yourself. Okay? So you can sigh. That's why. This is the purpose of the Self-Preservation Society. Not to make me anything. For me to save myself. And somewhere along the line, you're going to realize that self is a lot more vast than you can been thinking. And you would not be like you are toward other people if you really knew what self was. You would realize your actions against others is self-defeating. Okay? You would. One day you're going to get the concept of a dog may chase its tail, but if it actually bit its tail, it'd be crazy. So, you're not supposed to actually bite your family when you're not supposed to actually harm your family because you're harming yourself. And check the note about you have the ability to make your own wish come true. What is it you wish? You wish you had another you? Have a kid. You want 10 more yous so you can have enough for a football team or to start a business, but you need some more just like you? You were given the ability to clone yourself. What do you think that is for? Because you have this desire. It's there to fulfill this desire. It's why you can duplicate yourself. And you can train them to think any way you want to. You don't even have to train them to think like you. If they were taken from you and you didn't see them for 20 years, they would still pick their teeth just like you. This is proven fact. This isn't me saying this. This just is. They would still blink their eyes just like you without you teaching them. So you don't have to beat them into being what you want them to be. They will become you. Make yourself what you want them to be, and that's what your clone will be. Start with yourself. If you make yourself what you want to be, your clones will be born to be that. Don't expect them to be something you couldn't be or you couldn't achieve, fulfill your dreams through. That's not going to happen. They're going to do just like you. They're clones. Children. I don't know who made that word up. They're clones. Okay? And they have a purpose. The same purpose you were wishing for from other people. That you had some help to achieve these things you want to do that it takes more than 2 hands to do. With your ability to make 4 hands, 6 hands, 8 hands, 16 hands, 20 hands. That's another note. See, I'm always doing that. You have to find that note on yourself and on I and the ones. And that self is way more vast than what you're saying. Your children are like your toes and your fingers. They are a part of you. They are. And you're connected wirelessly, since no one wants to put it out there. Yes, you are still connected, just like the umbilical cord was still attached. And that's another thing. They cut this off. Now, am I wrong? Is this an assumption? But doesn't the umbilical cord feed and develop and give the baby everything? Doesn't it go through the umbilical cord, right? Okay, so how come we don't continue eating through our umbilical cord? How come they sew it up? Sewing is not natural. What would it do naturally? Will we still be able to ingest stuff? Are we cutting ourselves off from something? Our moms don't feed us through our mouth. We're in the womb. His mouth seems like it's making sounds and sampling things. What I mean by that is, watch a baby. It smells things, it tastes things, it hears, listens to things, and it feels things. This is what your senses are for, to evaluate things. Don't tell the baby, get that out your mouth. The baby is doing what's natural. You're not. The baby is checking out everything with all of its senses. It's not trying to be nasty. You're supposed to be checking out everything with all of your senses. You're supposed to be tasting it, smelling it, listening to it, and rubbing against it. Don't stop the baby or retard the baby from what's natural because you're screwed up. I had to stick that in. So go back to the beginning and go over each of these points, and they're only going to remind you, I better go see what those other notes are. I feel better. Got me feeling like I was stupid. You know that feeling you get every year? That last year you were stupid compared to what you know now? I'm trying to give it to you every day or every session where you feel smarter every session. I'm not on an ego trip to be the smartest man. What is that? I don't like EST. I really don't like EST. Putting the est on anything seems like you're stepping on God's toes when you want to call something the est. That title only belongs to the all. Nothing could be the est, but the all. We were taught that. Muslims are taught that. Everybody should be taught that. Don't be putting est on nothing when it's attached to people. The greatest, the best. None, because it's always going to be a lie. It will never be true. No one will never be the est anything. It may appear to be to you the est that you've witnessed. That don't make them the est. That's another subject too. So, got to get in that chair, you guys. It's got to be a landslide. They got to know not even to, they got to know not to even show up on election day. It's not going to happen. We have to really do this. You know? So, don't do it for me. Do it for yourself. You put the best person You put your life in the best hands you can put them in, which should be your own. But that's not all the time. Okay? If you're in an airplane and you can't fly an airplane, your life is best in the pilot's hands, not your own. So be sane about this, not insane. Because that's what the whole campaign is about. If we can regain sanity, there's no limitation to what we can do. We will be all right, that's for sure. We'll be in utopia. No one will be doing anything crazy. That may seem like a hoop dream to you, but I'm going to tell you again. The plan for saving the world. And for me to use all these fantastic skills to get everyone's attention, inspire them to save themselves. And if everyone saves themselves, the whole world will be saved.